Councilmember Moya is on.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to the Committee on Cultural Affairs and Libraries and International Intergroup Relations. Please silence all electronic devices. Chair, we are ready to begin. Good morning. I'm Councilmember Chi Osei. I'm chair of this committee. Today, the committee will both hear and vote on one piece of legislation as well as vote on a second piece of legislation. Reso 550, sponsored by Councilmember Hanif, a resolution recognizing May as Lupus Awareness Month in the city of New York, and Intro 590A, co-sponsored by Councilmembers Rivera and myself regarding Open Culture 2.0. Now I would like to welcome Councilmember Hanif to provide remarks on her legislation, which the committee is hearing for the first time today. Councilmember?
Thank you so much, Chair Osei, for including Resolution 550 on today's agenda. This resolution, which I was proud to introduce alongside Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson, would establish May as Lupus Awareness Month. My journey in getting diagnosed with lupus was extremely challenging. As a first-generation young woman of color, I was only 17, daughter of Bangladeshi Muslim immigrants, paired with the inequities in our healthcare system. My hope is that by designating May as Lupus Awareness Month, more people in our city will keep their eye out for this complicated disease and get diagnosed and treated and know that this city is rooted in care for us, that it won't leave us behind. This is particularly important for women of color and Black women who are disproportionately affected. I also want to highlight the policy changes that people with lupus need to thrive in New York City. We need a fully ADA accessible transit system, remote work accommodations, and free public health care. The fight for a city that prioritizes disability justice continues. I urge my colleagues to vote yes on Resolution 550. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Now, I would like to speak. I will read a statement from Councilmember Rivera to speak about her legislation, which I'm happy to co-sponsor. I know how important this is to the arts and cultural organizations that this committee is proud to work closely with almost every day. A permanent open culture program will ensure that our cultural organizations have access to more performance spaces and will expand access to arts and culture to more parts of the city, especially in areas that are considered cultural deserts. I thank Councilmember Rivera and her team for championing this critical piece of legislation for our cultural community. And Councilmember Rivera wrote, "Good morning. Thank you to Chair Osei for allowing me to make short remarks regarding my bill we're voting on today that would revive and make permanent the Open Culture program that was a lifeline for arts and culture organizations through the height of the pandemic. The legislation would codify the Open Culture permit to allow eligible arts and culture institutions to obtain permits to use roadways for events. There will be a $25 application fee, and there is no cost for the permit. The arts are our city's lifeblood, something evident in the vibrant and creative communities of District 2 on the east side. The arts and entertainment sector were hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic." Maybe I should let her read her statement. You sure? Yes. Okay. "And are arguably our city's great economic driver. The Open Culture program will help ensure equity and access to the arts, providing a low barrier way to bring performances and creations outside of buildings and into communities. I encourage my colleagues to vote yes, and I look forward to passing this legislation tomorrow at our stated meeting." Councilmember Rivera, would you like to add anything?
I just want to thank the chair for your leadership, and I want to thank all of the advocates who have brought this bill finally for a vote and on the verge of being passed, and to Councilmember Jimmy Van Bramer for introducing it last session. This is how we make arts and culture more accessible, more affordable, and I'm very, very excited to see this in the streets. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. I would also like to recognize the committee's members who are present for today's hearing and votes. So we have Councilmember Joseph, Councilmember Lewis, Councilmember Hanif, Councilmember Ung, and Councilmember Hudson. Finally, I would like to thank my staff as well as the committee staff and others who worked on preparing this legislation. Since there is no administration testimony today, I will now pass it on to my committee counsel to call any witnesses who are present for the public testimony portion of this hearing. Brenda?
Thank you, Chair. We are checking for any witnesses. We do not have anyone registered for remote testimony at this time. And we are waiting to make sure there are no witnesses in the room. We see no hands. We'll wait one moment. And then closing public testimony. Thank you.
I think we are now ready for the vote. Billy, please take it away.
Thank you. Good morning. William Martin, Committee Clerk. Roll call vote, Committee on Cultural Affairs, Libraries, and International Intergroup Relations. Both items are coupled. Chair Osei.
I vote aye on all.
Moya.
I vote aye.
Thank you. Lewis.
Aye on all. Congratulations to all bill sponsors.
Hanif.
Aye on all. Thank you.
Hudson.
Aye and all.
Joseph.
Aye on all.
Ung.
Aye and all.
With a vote of 7 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and no abstentions, both items have been adopted by the committee.
Thank you, Billy. And we'll keep the vote open for 3 minutes. You all are free to go if you'd like to. Thank you. We're gonna, and without further ado, we're gonna, yeah, okay, sorry. And without further ado, I will close today's committee vote.